Warning, this episode contains adult language, mature situations, determined Giru girl protagonist, traditional abiding rich boy love interest, sneaky bodyguards, manga release, and a sappy conclusion. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Listener review discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Spiraken Manga Review. I'm your host Zan, saying konnichiwa, aloha, bonjour, well, what's up? Hope you're good and hope you're excited for another fun-filled episode of this awesome podcast you can find at www.spiraken.com. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and various other social media sites. Just type in SPIRAKN and guarantee you find us one way or the other. And if you're watching on YouTube, remember to like, share, subscribe, and click on that bell for notification for when we release new episodes of this awesome podcast. And with that in mind, let's actually get to it, because if you remember from that last episode, I spun that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga. And it dictated to be reviewing a very, well, let's get to it, shall we? So the manga that we're talking about was written by Aki Kusaka. And this is their first work. And this was published by Viz Media, brought over here originally from Margaret Magazine. That means that this is a shoujo. This is for girls under the age of 18. The original one was 2020 to 2023 with 9 volumes. The series is complete. Currently only 2 volumes are out right now. And this is a comedy, romance, school life series. Its original title was Hyaku Shitai Futari, but known in English simply as Let's Do It Already. And this is a romantic story about 2 kids who are in love with each other and an insane situation, like most are. Because this is the story of a young girl whose name is Yuri Hasegawa, and a young boy named Keiichiro Katsuragi, and they love each other. They are truly and fully and wonderfully in love with each other. They met on the train, their schools are next to each other, and from there, love has blossomed, and they finally admit to each other that they love each other. Yuri admits that she is totally in love with him so much, and that she wants him to totally go out with her. And Keiichiro's like, I'm totally in love with you. My mind is filled with your thoughts. So of course I'll go out with you, and it'll be wonderful as we stay together. I don't want you anywhere but by my side. And Yuri automatically goes for a kiss because she's excited. And Keiichiro's like, wait, what are you doing? She's like, well, you're my boyfriend now, so we can kiss, right? No, that's not how it goes. You see, it turns out that there is a weird situation going on with Keiichiro. Keiichiro's father and grandfather were both former prime ministers. He is from a huge shogunate-style family that has been around for generations, and they have a huge list of traditions that they will follow in order to remain important. This is something which they follow completely. It is so important that it's law to the family. And Keiichiro will follow this law no matter what. And what is this law that they're talking about? Well, to quote it simply, it is known as Law Number 6 of the Katsuragi family, which is that he is unable to go out with anyone under the age... Article 7 from the Katsuragi family code regarding courting. Upon reaching 7 years of age, children shall neither seat nor bed with the opposite sex until ladies reach their 17th year and gentlemen their 18th year. Should one disobey this precipice, a severe punishment shall be issued after deliberation, which means anything that is considered dirty cannot be done. And this really, really sucks because, like I said, turns out that he is the heir to a huge family, and she really wants to go out with him, but he has to follow tradition. He has to uphold this tradition, and this is going to be a bit of a crimp in their relationship. But Yuri is going to do anything she can to make him hug her, kiss her, whatever. So she's going to try dressing up a little more sexy and being there because she's a girl. She's more of a, relaxed, fun girl. And she's never had a date before. She's never been with anybody before. She's a complete and utter virgin. And she wants this to work out. And she's completely confused as why he's in this weird situation. But this is his role. He is someone who she met on a train, who's really smart, who's from the number 1 school in the area, which everyone there is someone who is important. And she fell in love with him. She ended up thinking the first time they met is when he she saw him with a book that he was reading. Well, actually, later on, we find out that the first time they met was when he dropped a bookmark and she handed it to him, and it was a whole thing of her trying to return it to him or him trying to return it to her. And it's this very cute moment of he's like, why'd you do that? I could just buy a new one. And he's like, because it could have been important to you. And he fell in love with her. And he's loved her ever since, and he wants to be with her. But he has to follow these rules, and these rules are absolutely ironclad and important. And she's trying everything she can to get him to essentially kiss her, hug her, do something, because they have to stay at arm's reach. But after some shenanigans which occur, he eventually is able to tell her the truth. Is that one, the family is observing him. So he has to act like he is far away. Like when they first go on their first date, when they're meeting up, she goes to say, hey, surprise, how you doing? And he judo chops her because he thinks she's attacking him because he's been trained to be kept away from attacking. She tries to hug him. He dodges over slightly. He turns and he says, listen, there are people following us. And any violation of this will cause problems. That's why I haven't seen you in the last 3 days, because this technically was a violation. I had to fill out paperwork because this family is full of traditions. But the thing is, he really does care about her and he is in love with her. But he can't do much. He is excited. He's someone who can't wait. He has to wait 200 days until they can be together. 200 days until he is 18 years old and they can actually start being cool and, well, kiss and make out and do whatever. And he actually does one of the most beautiful things possible is when he goes really close to her and rubs her lip with his thumb and then puts that on his lips, essentially an indirect kiss. And he tells her, this is going to have to do for now, but I'm going to tell you this now. Patience is not my strong suit. And once this is done, we're going to do it till it hurts. And it's like, okay. So she is willing to work with this insane tradition and be there. But she really cares about him. And this is them dealing with this weird family trope as she's trying to figure out what the boundaries are. For example, he doesn't have a cell phone. So he has to put in a petition for a cell phone in order for him to get one. And then in order for him to get one, he has to do it. And then he ends up becoming addicted to it. And they're talking all the time because they can talk. So he has a very addictive personality and a very impatient personality. So he's like, I have to limit myself or else we're going to never sleep and I'm going to do bad school and then I will never be able to see you. So our rule is 1 hour a day per week, except for Saturdays and Sundays. So it's going to be 5 to 6 on Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, it'll be 7 to 8. That's all we can talk about. We can only text in emergencies, and that's it, which she has to deal with. But as she's learning more about these traditions, she ends up trying to make her own traditions and work with them within the range because they're so obscure and so odd. I think my favorite one is that there is a point when he forgets his umbrella and they haven't seen each other in a while, so she writes up a contract because he has her sign contracts for every little thing, using phones, doing this, seeing each other, going on dates for 15 minutes at a time, which is insane. Their dates are only 15 minutes long because it's all the free time he has. But she writes a contract saying, this is my family tradition that if it's raining and you forget your umbrella, I have to come pick you up. Which is really sweet, and it looks like they're going to get together. And then, after a few minutes of them walking, a car drives up because he forgot to cancel his car ride. And then we are introduced to one of the other main characters of this story, his bodyguard, Sagara, whose whole existence is to make sure that Keiichiro is safe, and more importantly, that he doesn't break tradition. And he's going to try everything he can to break them up. Even though he gets smart and realizes they do care about each other, but he still has to break them up for reasons. And this is the story. This is what's going on. And it's completely crazy that this is what it is. And at first, I was very rough about this. I didn't really like the initial premise because I was like, this is too weird. This is odd. But then as I read it, it started getting really good, really creative, really clever, and more happened to it. The art style is typical Margaret style. It's beautifully done. It's very shoujo-y. And later on, there's so many little elements that work so well that put a smile to your face as this story of Yuri and Keiichiro works itself. And since it's not officially released all the way, I don't want to spoil what happens, but there are some moments that are truly beautiful, some moments that are truly hard, and it makes you root for this couple. They're trying their best to stay together, even though there's so many weird things keeping them apart that are due to family circumstances. This is similar to in a series we reviewed a long time ago that I actually have in that top shelf right there, Ayori Aoshi, where it was that Aoi was from the Sakuraba family and she had to follow tradition, but she did not want to follow tradition to be with the love of her life. This is the same situation where there are rules in society that he has to that Kichiro has to follow, but he'll stay with it in order to be with Yuri. And the ending is worth it, which is great. So from the first volume, I had to give this a weird situation where the first part of this was your give him a crazy mirror, okay, but forgettable. But as the story draws you in and you learn more about the characters and you see more of this relationship build and so much background elements to it, it actually becomes a more fleshed out story. And I really want to spoil it, but I'm not going to. And for that reason, I have to give this our second highest rating of, well, borrow from a friend and don't return unless offered Pocky. It's really good. It's just that it starts off weird, and there are some tropes that it does follow that are very like, oh, this again. But once you get past that, it is a great story. It is fun. It is whimsical. I love the fact that she ends up starting to stand up for herself and doing the, I have my tradition now. This is the tradition for my family. This is what we're going to do for this. And she really works hard to make this work with all these insane demands that he has. Like I said, literally at one point, he has to fill out a contract in order for them to just go on a dinner date. So, yeah. Borrow from a friend, don't return unless offered Pocky. Now, if you've read this before, let me know. Email me, zanspiraken.com. Tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know your thoughts if you enjoyed this, didn't enjoy this, or thought it was, well, mediocre, or let me know. And with that, actually, let me ask you our random questions of the day, which is actually a pretty cool one, is a pretty fun one, and that is going to be, what traditions do you have? Or what are your family traditions? Let me know. Email me, zanspiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know. And with that in mind, let's actually get to the next part of this, which is one of the best parts. And what are we talking about? We are talking about the manga releases for the week. So let's get to it, shall we? So the manga releases for this week are going to be, well, starting off with one which I was really excited about to get, and that is The Seventh Time Loop. The villainess enjoys a carefree life married to her worst enemy. And this one is really cool. Next we had A Sign of Affection Omnibus 2. This is volumes 4 to 6. This is the second set. I had already picked these up, so unfortunately it would be double dipping, but this one looks really cool. A Stepmother's Marchen, volume 4. As a reincarnated aristocrat, I'll use my appraisal skills to rise in the world, 5, light novel. Becoming a Princess Knight and Working at a Yuri Brothel, volume 2. Blue Lock, volume 13. Cat Plus Gamer, volume 5. Eden Zero, volume 29. Fists of the North Star, volume 13. Guardians Zuhon, the novel, volume 3. I got caught up in a hero summons, but the other world was at peace, volume 8 of the manga. Kana of the Great Snow Sea, volume 1. Mermaid Prince. My Name is Shingo, the Perfect Edition, volume 2, another one by Kazuo Umezu. My Noisy Roommate, The Roof Over My Head Comes with Monsters and a Hottie, volume 1. Nina, the Starry Bride, volume 5. Reborn Rich, volume 1. Reincarnated into a game as the hero's friend, running the kingdom behind the scenes, volume 2. Saving 80,000 gold in another world for my retirement, volume 7 of the manga. Shangri-La Frontier, volume 12. Soul Eater, the Perfect Edition, volume 15. Super Morning Star, volume 2. Tengen Hero Wars, volume 2. The condemned villainess goes back in time and aims to become the ultimate villain, light novel, volume 2. The Dangerous Convenience Store, volume 3. The Dawn of the Witch, volume 6, light novel. The Dragon's Knights Beloved, volume 7. The Villainess and the Demon Knight, Volume 3. Trapped in a Dating Sim, The World of Otome Games is Tough for Mobs, the manga, Volume 10. And last and certainly not least, we have Villain Actor, Volume 1. So these are the manga releases for the week. We've had some really great ones, some really weird ones. I really had to struggle to pick my top 5 for this week because there were so many new volumes that I really wanted to just geek out about. Like I was geeking out about Cat Gamer, geeking out about Sign of Affection, Stepmother's Marchin', Shangri-La Frontier, and My Noisy Roommate, which that one looks like a lot of fun. But my top 5 for this week are going to be Villain Actor Volume 1, because it's a unique story and villains are always fun to read about. Reborn Rich Volume 1, this is a manga, so it should be really good. Nina the Starry Bride Volume 5, that series is so fun, and Volume 5 is when it gets really crazy. Then we had Mermaid Prince, which is a Satoshi Kon manga. This one is another one that they found, and if you remember last time we talked about Mermaid's Egg, which was a great story, this one is just as good. So we're going to see how that goes. And last and certainly not least, Kana of the Great Snow Sea. This is a post-apocalypse story that looks really cool, so I'm going to have to wait and see how this is. But which are the ones you're most excited about? Let me know. Email me, zanspiraken.com, or tweet me at Spiraken. Let me know your thoughts and your things. And before we go any further, I'd like to thank each and every one of you. Every email I get, every comment I get, it gives me more motivation to keep doing this podcast, and I love doing this. I want to keep doing this till I'm an old man who has to read manga with thick glasses and large print, and I love this, so thank you so much. And if you're checking this out, remember to check out our website, www.spiraken.com, for our earlier episodes and some of our written work. And if you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/@Spiraken. Remember to like, share, subscribe. And with that in mind, let's get to the part that you have all been waiting for, the most popular part of this podcast. And what are we talking about? We are talking about that one, that only, the Wheel of Manga! Accepts no substitute. Now, what is the Wheel of Manga? The Wheel of Manga is a wheel of fortune with 10 slots on it. What I've done is I've assigned a manga title to each of the 10 slots. So what we're going to do is we're going to spin the wheel. Whatever number it lands on, that's the manga I'm going to review in the next episode of the Spiraken Manga Review, episode 564. We got some great titles on here. Some are really weird, some are really fun, but let's see what we're going to review in the next episode, shall we? Number 7. So, in the next episode, I'm going to be reviewing Takapi's Original Sin, a story about an alien from Planet Happy who has come to make this world a more better place. And what happens? Well, we're going to have to wait and see. But either way, hope you enjoyed this episode. As usual, I am your host, Zan. I am Gonzville. I'll catch you guys next time. And keep reading manga. See you later.